This is iDesign Lab, a podcast where creativity and curiosity meet style and design. Curator of interiors, furnishings, and lifestyles. Hosted by Tiffany Woolley, an interior designer and a style enthusiast, along with her serial entrepreneur husband, Scott. iDesign Lab is your ultimate design podcast, where we explore the rich and vibrant world of design and its constant evolution in style and trends. iDesign Lab provides industry insight, discussing the latest trends, styles, and everything in between to better help you style your life through advice from trendsetters, designers, influencers, innovators, fabricators, and manufacturers, as well as personal stories that inspire, motivate, and excite. And join us on this elevated, informative, and lively journey into the world of all things design. On today's episode of the iDesign Lab podcast, we welcome Hadley Pollet, designer, entrepreneur, and creative force, redefining what fashion can be. With roots at RISD and a fierce commitment to ethical design, Hadley's work blends bold artistry, sustainability, and a deep belief that fashion should be personal, not disposable.
Welcome to the iDesign Lab podcast. Today, we would like to welcome Hadley Pollet, who is a creative director and created her own namesake brand and has a very fascinating story on, creating some things beautiful. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little about yourself. You reside in New York.
Yeah, I reside outside New York
Outside
in
New York.
Greenwich. Yes. I started my company actually in Boston.
Okay.
But it really, I grew up in Connecticut. So it really does it has a little bit of an East Coast vibe, I would say.
It does have very much an East Coast vibe.
Yeah.
Old money, my kids would call it.
Oh, they, well, that's very kind of them. Yeah, I mean, I
Did you jump into fashion like immediately? Or did you go to college for it? Or?
I didn't. I went to college for English and American literature.
Okay.
And I started in publishing at Little Brown Publishers. I'm a very hard worker, so I interned at Little Brown. I went to NYU and I worked 20 hours a week and took my classes. And so for 3 years. So by the time I was done with school, I had a job.
Okay.
I had a job 3 weeks before I was done with school.
In publishing?
In publishing. Then I moved into, I worked for Mullen, which is now I think what Mullen Lowe and Partners, and advertising for companies like mine. For specifically, a textile company called Malden Mills. And they make, or at the time they made upholstery, high-end jacquard fabrics, upholstery fabrics, and then Polar Tech. And my job was to support 222 brands because they're an ingredient brand. So I supported everybody from DKNY to Patagonia.
Very cool.
Yeah.
220 brands. It's a lot of brands.
Yes.
And it's a fascinating insight into a business that wasn't what you were doing.
Right.
Like it's kind of a backdoor entry.
It is a backdoor entry. So the CEO's wife, though she's now passed away, her name Louise Fierstein.
Okay.
She had a high-end specialty jacquard division, and I would take her on press tours, and we became very close.
When you say jacquard?
Jacquard, like
Is the
jacquard
detail of
textiles.
the textile.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a woven textile. So
is.
actually, on our belts are made of thin jacquards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would always spend extra time with her picking yarn colors, and I mean, they did not know this at Mullen, but I loved her studio. I loved picking all the yarns and, learning how all the textiles were made. And that possibly could be because my family was in textiles in the Barrington, Rhode Island area long before everything moved south. So, I think it's in my blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I went to a startup and then I started my company.
But what made you decide to go out on your own?
Well, let's see.
Was there someone that, you were inspired by, or something that happened?
Yes. Well, I was taking one class at Rhode Island School of Design.
Yeah, that's what.
And 9/11 happened. And during that time, I did have 2 public relations clients, but I really felt I was frustrated because the clients, they didn't get top right corner, or they were, people always complain about, where their placement
Position.
way back
Yeah,
when in the
absolutely.
press and stuff. And I thought, how did I just go back to this after working at this startup? And now I've got these clients again, and I'm tired of this.
Right.
And I was taking this design course, and 9/11 happened, and my mom's third husband, that's another story, but anyway, who's really her first love, died.
Aww.
And I was on the phone with
Because
her.
of 9/11?
Yeah.
Or really?
He was in
Oh,
the second
wow.
tower to be hit, the first tower
my
to go down.
goodness.
He was on the 92nd floor, and the plane came in at 91.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was on the phone with me. So I saw one tower burning on TV, and I called her, "Where's John?" She was clicked over to him, and the plane came at him, and he said, "Jesus Christ," on the phone. And bam.
So she was on the phone with him when it happened.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
that's,
then the phone went dead. And she happened to be in Rhode Island. She had just moved to New Jersey from Connecticut because they'd just gotten married.
Wow.
And she happened to be in Rhode Island near me. And so, because they shut all the bridges down. I
Right.
never would have
Right.
been able to get to her. But so we
Right.
went and picked her up, and she came straight to my place in Boston. And at the time, I really hated what I was doing. Something
Right.
like that has an effect over you.
Totally.
It's so fast.
Of course, what a profound change immediately.
Just, I'm doing the wrong thing. You only live once.
right.
Let's go. And my teacher had said to me at Rhode Island School of Design, she had taken me aside. She worked for brands like Anne Klein. It's so long ago. But
I know,
brands that
remember
we all
those
know.
days, yeah.
And she had said to me, "I've never had a student like you. You have a look, you have a feel, you understand branding.
Yeah,
you
you
have
do
to
have an
do
interesting
this,
perspective.
and you have to do this, Hadley. Like, I'm just telling you, if you're thinking about doing this, I want you to do this.
So what is doing this?
So you have to start this business."
And what was the idea behind the business then when you started it?
Well, my line, this is so funny. So we were designing a line of clothing, and I was kind of annoyed because everybody wanted to do, ball gowns. And I was like, well, that's so boring, So I'm going to do modular. I'm going to do a modular pregnancy line.
Oh, that is a riot.
And I had decided that, I had never been pregnant. I decided that you could wear a belt, that you could wear a belt up high. So I decided that I was going to use all these trims and buttons and buckles and things, and you could unzip the bottom of your pants and change them so you wouldn't have to buy a new pair of pants
What
to go out for dinner. And you could, it's very now, actually, it was really ahead of its time. We're working on some modular pieces now, but so that's what I decided. And I wore a piece of trim around a buckle, literally wrapped. I mean, it was not sewn, out to dinner one night with some friends in Boston. We were at a brewery.
And people
And we were just waiting for somebody's birthday party, waiting to sit down, and 5 people
Gave
in
you a
line said,
comment.
"Where did you get that belt?" And I looked at them and I said,
I made it.
"How much will you pay for the belt?"
Yeah. That was so
Right?
like you had an aha moment in a way, probably right then and there. Of
I
like,
did.
This is where we're leading.
This is So then I involved my mom.
Uh-huh.
So, that was a way to take her mind off the grief. I mean, the grief was just
I
overwhelming for
can't
her.
imagine.
So, so then we started with vintage trims and buckles.
And did you go and play with them in stores and collect and get inspired? How did you even know where to begin to look for collecting the vintage pieces?
Sorry to interrupt you. My roommate's mother-in-law, founded Vera Bradley.
Okay.
So she said, you have carte blanche to. She was very kind.
What a great
very
mer-
matriarchal
yeah,
and very
like
kind, and So any questions we
mentor.
had, we just asked. And also people told me, like, you can go to this trim store in New York, or the trim store told me where to get the buckles.
Right.
And it just started to it lined up very quickly with the belts. And
So were you making these yourself?
I
Or did you
had a factory.
You had a factory.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a really small factory in Boston making them. Woman run.
Really?
From day one.
And was that sourced through the Vera Bradley connection?
That was
somebody, you were just totally led into,
Yes.
wow. So that's like heaven sent.
Yes.
So now you're making belts, and then how are you getting it in front of consumers? And
Well, I went to my 2 favorite stores
Uh-huh.
in Boston where I was a good customer.
what stores are those? 'Cause
Yeah. I went to college in Boston.
Oh, you
It's
did?
one of her favorite cities.
I love it there.
I went to Wish,
Okay.
and what was the other one? Eye of the Needle.
I have the Needle. That's another Palm Beach too. Yeah.
Yeah. And they bought. I had a
Oh,
little
yes.
basket that was like this hand-painted basket
Yes.
with a little lid on it, and I would open it
That
up
was like your little.
and show them my belts. And a friend of mine from New Canaan founded Wish, so she was very sweet and ordered right away. But they sold out in 2 days. They each bought like a dozen belts, and the belts just went really fast. And so then they started ordering substantial amounts and in advance,
Right,
months
like,
out.
yeah.
And they were part of a network of buyers, or they knew other buyers in North Carolina, in Florida. So they started referring me to other places, and I got myself into 50 stores within like 3 months.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a pretty big start. Could you fulfill all these orders right away, or did you ever get to that stressful time of like, we have to come with new collections and we need new prints and we need new...
Always. Well, one of the girls at Eye of the Needle worked for Nanette Lepore. and
Oh my
she-
goodness, all these really cool brands. Like you had a lot of amazing connections, which I guess the Northeast kind of,
Yeah.
they're all there.
They're
so-
all there. Yeah, the Northeast is really beautiful that way.
Yes.
So, but she was looking for a job in fashion. And I said to her, well, how much do they pay you here? So I paid her $2 more an hour and said, come, you can still work here. I can't give you full time right now. So she started with me. Her name is Natalie. I adore her still.
What was she doing? What would
So
you bring her on for?
she was a designer for Nanette Lepore that had just
Okay.
moved to Boston. So she really, then she knew where to get the trims made. So
Okay.
we started designing the trims. And I was going through, I had, a 1-minute marriage. I would call it was a mistake. And I sold my wedding ring.
And
To help finance?
To fund the first big slew of orders.
that's amazing.
I did.
Amazing.
I
So
took
you
the ring back to
and you're-
Shreve Crump and Lowe and said,
But you're
that's
just doing
funny.
belts at this point.
I was just doing belts, and then I was on the beach on Martha's Vineyard. My family has a place there with my cousins, and my cousin's friend said to me, you need to meet this woman, Cynthia O'Connor. You need to meet her. She's going to die over this. My friend works for her. Here I am on the beach. And I really do believe in if you're aligning yourself, if
Well,
you're in
for
places,
sure.
if you're in places you love, doing things you love, things unfold for you. So
And this whole story has been a story of unfolding. Even
Yeah.
the 1-minute marriage. Right? Like it
Right.
was all part of this process of becoming.
it really was. And so so she called me on Monday and said, okay, here's my friend's number at Cynthia. And they showed Cynthia, I had a website, which a lot of the stores did not like. I did not care. I knew that was the feedback.
didn't want
Because
you
you
to
were selling
sell.
on the website? Is
Yes.
that why?
Yeah.
I
wanted
understand why.
exclusives.
In 2003, right?
Right.
They're so mad, right, that you have a
Yeah.
website. And I said, well, that's too bad. You're going to have a website soon too. So Cynthia went to my website and she faxed me a contract before we even talked. She just called me and said, we're faxing a contract right now. I have to have you in my showroom. Well, she's the woman that really exploded Kate Spade's sales.
So you've really been able to design the life you wanted with the brand you created.
Yes.
By literally trusting the process.
Yes, you just leap.
You took a leap.
You just leap. You always leap.
I
My
agree.
husband
You
and I
can't
had this
overthink.
conversation.
You can't
Yeah.
overthink it.
You take a jump. You want to move, you just move.
So this is the
Yeah.
early 2000s. At what point do you start getting into other items?
Well, Cynthia, she's now retired and
You
she'll
said
laugh.
Cynthia
O'Connor.
O'Connor?
Yeah.
Because I knew Connors and Martha's Vineyard, they owned the Big Inn. Is it the same?
Oh, no. She was in Manhattan.
Okay.
Yeah.
in fashion.
Okay.
So she I think it was 5 weeks before a trade show in January, called me and said, I'm putting you at, because she would have like a whole row at the trade show. And that's where a lot of the buyers would come first. And to start, I had a little closet of a booth smaller than, than where we're sitting right here, with just belts. And she said to me, I'm putting you at the front of the row. You're the feature. You need to do bags. I had 5 weeks to create bags.
And design them.
Yeah. It was crazy. And she said, I know you can do it. So I was in New York City in -6-degree weather designing bags. And I did. I came up with a whole bag line in 6 weeks, begging every of the manufacturers, you have to make these samples for me, please. I know I'm not a big brand for you, but I will be. I promise you, I'll give you the business. Cynthia will sell it. This is going to be really great. And they knew who she was, so that helped. So we got into bags very quickly. I mean, I wouldn't say they were the best bags.
What type of bags were they?
They were, so the canvas tote bags were amazing, and our canvas tote bags are still great. And those were do you want me to pick that up? Those were interwoven trims and very sturdy. And they didn't have any leather. Now we have a leather detail on them. But then we also did laser cut leather over canvas, which we have laser cut belts and other laser cut. Your clutch that I gave you is laser cut. So,
I do like just how the line has stayed somewhat true to like the jacquard. Like you're incorporating the original designs into the newer products. Like it's staying on tone.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's very important. We've had some challenges with the jacquards for a little while because a lot of the manufacturers were starting to use polyester. And I was like, cheap.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
We don't do polyester.
Yep.
And now it's funny, they're coming around and realizing they can't sell polyester in Europe.
Right.
There are all these regulations coming back saying, no, you can't sell plastic.
Right.
Yeah, so I really stuck to my guns on that one, and I've been kind of a pain to some of them that I work with.
Well, only a true designer is like that. You can't get in the way of that creative process, right? You hold true to what your vision is.
Yeah, and we have a certain quality that we really stick to. And from a consumer perspective, there's also a dialogue that we like to create, a secret dialogue with our consumers. So that 2-finger clutch, only Tiffany will know that when she slides her hand in there that there's the trim that she has on one of our belts.
Right.
She can feel the texture. And and just, we design our bags ergonomically. We really think about the proportion of a woman's arm, how it's going to look on them, how it's going to feel. Is this something that is going to become part of her? Or is it something that she's going to really just want to throw down when she gets where she's going? But
you now do bags where people can kind of create their bag.
Well, yes. Yes, we do.
Going to the website, you can select different options. And
when did that personalization process, I guess, right?
Yes. And we did try the personalize your own belt back in 2005, and it was ahead of its time. But I think...
Well, I think websites weren't where they are today, so that might have been...
It was Flash.
Yeah. Oh.
If you know what that is.
Yes.
So we have the make your own bag and section, and it speaks to the characteristic of our brand, which is that we want you to be you.
That's your philosophy, your founding philosophy.
Authenticity is the highest vibe.
Yeah.
We all know that. That means you love yourself, so it is a form of love. And so we want you to be you. We want you to see yourself in our products. So, we do have stores in Vermont and stores in California and different stores around the world that carry our product where women might be bohemian or prep, it could be bohemian,
you're right.
preppy. Yeah.
And the belts really do take on that vibe. You can style them in your own style.
Yes. And that's the point. So you really feel like we're uplifting you And our products are uplifting you and raising your vibe and making you feel unique. And right now, there's too much sameness in the world.
Too much what?
Sameness.
Yes.
So when I was like researching for the podcast and I, realized that was such a strong philosophy with you in my business, I had recently a conversation with a person in real estate that we do some work with. And we were talking about like, with all this fast fashion and this cookie cutter, because we were talking about it in homes, for example. And obviously what I do in interior design and the way you're doing in fashion design, you're wanting it to be unique and obviously speak to an end user. And in this, and I was saying how my kids, like, they don't even think you wear something twice. You know what I mean? They're like, well, and I was like, years ago, people would collect forever to create their wardrobe. You don't just clean out your closet. I mean, it was like you collected. And I hope, and we do talk about this a lot, it comes up in our podcast of kind of going back to some of these old fashion ideals. Even we had somebody who, was in the jewelry bit, like going back again, not just this fast fashion, and really start to build a wardrobe again, collect pieces.
Yeah, we have women that collect our belts and our bags. And I had a really close friend of mine. I knew her mother since I was little, and her mother passed away, and she had no idea. She went into her mother's closet and she said, Hadley, she has like 30 of your belts. I mean, I knew she loved your belts, but
that must have felt so good.
It was really, that was really touching to me. Sorry. But yeah, so that's definitely the intent behind the products that we create, is that they last a long time.
They're timeless in their aesthetic. They really are. I definitely, and they're ageless. Like any child, I mean, literally from a teenager to any generation is somebody that could, I mean, on the golf course, I mean, you can pull it to your own vibe.
But your line is more than just belts and bags. You have other items.
Yes.
Tell us about what the other items that you have.
So we've expanded. So I love yoga.
Okay.
And so
that.
we have athletic wear now
Which is a huge thing in the world we live in now, this athleisure generation.
Yeah. Well, I would never do sweatpants.
Right? Good for you. I'm all for that. I'm team athleisure, but no sweatpants.
I'm with Karl Lagerfeld on that one.
Yeah.
You need to rethink your life if you're wearing sweats.
Yes, I agree.
But we do these really, really bright, vibrant bra tops and crop tops and leggings, and they have inspirational sayings on the inside to the conversation about creating a conversation with our customers. So when you put them on, it might say "Shine bright today," or "You are loved," or whatever on the inside band of your
yoga pants
or bra top.
I love that. So what is your efforts to get the line out to the rest of the world? I mean, is it through stores, brick and mortar? Is it through social media, or is it
online?
It's all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that, I don't know if this is correct or not, but like some of the big department stores you've kind of shunned away from.
I have.
Tell us why.
Because they're selling the same thing every year over and over again to the same group of people. And whatever I can find there, I can find on Temu.
Yep.
And
which I think makes your brand very much more unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's some difficulties with the department stores right now.
You're right. They're kind of on their way out, actually.
Saks is not paying people.
Yeah.
And they were a big partner of ours, but they're not paying anybody. And as a designer and a creative, I feel that creatives should be protected, not taken advantage of.
Right.
That's so important.
And those stores have been taking advantage of creatives. They've been building their business on the backs of creatives, not paying them on time, giving them tough terms. And, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I've had the experience of it. And I don't really care that it's controversial. That's what's happening. And if I were to guide anybody,
I don't think it's controversial
No,
at all.
I think we're
It's-
trying to get back to a shop small mentality. I mean, the mass-produced nothings are really not exciting anymore.
No. So yeah, so we don't sell to any big department stores. None. And I really believe in small partners around the world that are a destination shop.
Correct.
So everybody here knows they
I
have
love
to go to
that.
Love Shack.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
right.
and
Snappy
those
turtle.
places know more about the product as well.
Yeah, they know
Well,
us.
They know you,
Yes,
correct.
yeah.
They know the connection. They know, the love that's put into each unique piece.
Yeah. And they're building community. And I think everybody needs community, especially right now. People are thirsting for more community because of technology. I mean, they think they're finding community online, but I think it's much better in person.
It's true.
And women still love trying things on.
I agree.
And so, they want their friends to tell them what looks good and what doesn't look good. And
It's an event.
Yeah.
That's such a really beautiful philosophy behind the brand. Do you use social media regularly or influencers or anything like that to continue to build, or is it mainly the relationships that you're building with stores?
We use social media. We don't use a lot of influencers. I think that culture, the culture of influencing, is also collapsing right
Toxic,
now.
yeah.
And if we do work with anybody that you might call an influencer, she has to be using her influence positively. So she has to be building something for young girls, or influencing a certain law that she believes in, doing something, using her voice in a way and her platform in a way that actually creates positive change specifically for women.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
the brand seems to have a lot of positive
And
sort
I
of
know.
direction and around it.
It does. I feel like that's like such a huge part of the brand. It almost needs more, that's like the founding principle. What do you see doing? Like, are you going to incorporate any other new items in the near future, or do you stay focusing on the belts and the bags?
Our accessories business is the business that does the most for us monetarily. We have clothing and other things that we do, but people really love our accessories, and I think we're economically at a point where people are going to start buying more accessories and less clothing. We're just in that kind of trend.
How do you find following these trends? How do you stay up to date on like the industry itself?
I'm very intuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Or are
mean,
you creating your own?
yeah, I'm creating.
That's how
my
I
own.
kind of think that you are kind of creating your own path.
Thank you so much for saying that.
No, you
Yeah.
do it.
Look at the sustainability
and it shows
you
in the
have,
line of
too.
items.
I mean, that's huge to me that you're able to continue and grow.
Oh,
I mean, that's
thank
what
you.
everybody looks for when you're creating a brand. I mean, 20 years is a long
time.
time.
Yeah, 20 years is a long time. And our sustainability piece happened because we had trouble with a factory in China.
Mm-hmm.
They were sending us like red bags when we ordered yellow.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean, it was
problem,
crazy.
right?
Like the factory only has red leather, and then we're like, but we didn't. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
So at that moment, we actually had to sue them, and we won the lawsuit, but because we were able to, which is very unusual. But we had a pivot. This really close friend of mine from Peru. He's now a very close friend of mine. He worked for the Peruvian government, and he reached out to me and said, "We want you to come to Peru." It just happened. I was so down and out, thinking, I cannot believe all these things are showing up bad, and I have to sue this factory, and this is terrible. And it just happened at the same moment. And we were a little skittish because, we were meeting him in like a hotel in Boston, and he had these, bags full of products, and he had to change the appointment twice, and I had my husband come with me. And then he said, well, we're going to fly you down there. And we actually told him, well, we need to meet you at the consulate in New York.
Oh, that's so funny. You really protective.
I really
love
felt like
that.
I'd been scammed from
Right,
previously.
right.
So now I've got to really make sure. Now he's like a brother to me. I mean,
That's
he's just like the nicest
amazing.
man. And I mean,
So you're having stuff now manufactured and made in Peru.
yeah, we actually cross-pollinate between lots of different countries. So, but we do have some things made in Peru. We have some things made in Southeast Asia, some things made in South America, in the United States. It just depends.
And I feel like that's fitting with the brand ethos too. I mean, repopulating and, bringing good energy into all those being, economic systems too.
Yeah. The economic empowerment piece is really important to us. So we do visit every factory that we work with, and we prefer them to be owned either by women or a family,
Right.
small family owned, and we make sure the women are paid
Right.
equally to their
Yes,
husbands.
yes.
We've had instances where they're not, and I've had to talk to the husband and say, I'm happy to do business with you when you pay your wife.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that get incorporated as the business was growing and you taking on such obviously not only the design role, the creator role, but taking on that whole business aspect and doing these negotiations and everything? Like, how does that look like?
It's very fluid, to be honest with you. I mean, if my husband and I, we travel a lot. So if we're traveling somewhere and we think that there are, artisans or people that we want to meet or see, or we hear about something, then we go and we meet them and see them. We do have certain governments reach out to us, like the Indian government just reached out to me from India to come to like a textile fair. So we do have, relationships, and we have been to different, or sort of like organized things like that, which help. I can't say I do it all.
I was going to say, what is
Jung
your
off
team?
camera here is
Yeah.
he's critical. My husband's very critical in the whole process. How we met was he was supposed to be my consultant. I was being knocked off, and
Really?
yeah, we were finding our stuff in Chinatown in New York, and it was really terrible. And somebody introduced me to Jung to help with redesigning the entire line so that it would not be knocked off. And so he says I got a good deal.
So when you
We went on a
say
date right away.
when
but
you
he
say
really-
redesigning the line so it doesn't get knocked off,
Yeah.
what do you do to redesign a line so?
So you introduce a lot of different elements, like that I talked about, even like the 2-finger slide, or different elements into all of the design that if somebody were knocking it off, they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even notice it.
Right.
And also, you create a dialogue with your consumer that they know what's real and what's not real, right?
Yeah.
So, whether it be the 2-finger slide on the clutch that I gave you, or, we have bags with handles that are woven like a Japanese sword.
Oh, so cool.
Or, I have a bag over there that the tassel is hand beaded in Taiwan, and the bag itself is made, in South America, and the textiles are made in Europe.
Wow, they really are quality.
It's really cross-pollinating different countries and what their strengths are as well.
So these different elements are being made in different locations. So then they're all being brought to one location for it to be assembled.
And is that here?
Either the United States, or if I think, there's a place that's better, then we go there. Yeah. It
So
just-
from a retail standpoint and the products being sold, is it throughout the United States? Where could the audience find your?
I would love it if they went to our website
Site?
first.
Okay.
Yeah. But there are also a lot of small stores. So in places like Nantucket and the Vineyard and
The shopping little districts.
Right.
Yeah.
New
Yeah. There are a lot of
England
small
area.
stores. Yeah.
But like you said too, California has that little, like the bohemian side that they can fit right on into as well.
Yeah. I would say the East Coast, California, Illinois, and Texas have always been kind of like
Texas
our
is a good
biggest
one,
areas.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
South, where people love bright color. I mean, I do believe color is energy, and I think people in the South understand that more.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, your line is
Here I am in black.
it is very colorful.
It is. And
Yeah.
it has, I mean, I think it is a preppiness to it, too.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
I love.
I grew up in a New Canaan.
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
preppiest of prep. Yeah.
Exactly. And I love that. But yet they have a whimsy, too.
Thank
that
you.
can be incorporated.
Yeah, and we've sell in other countries as well. Like the Japanese love cute things, and we have occasionally this one store that will pick up one of everything in the line. They really get uniqueness, so we can't make them stick to the minimums. It's like I just want one of everything. Okay. That's fine, because our customers don't want to look like anyone else.
Right.
Right.
Which I love.
Yes, I bet.
Yeah, if I could do that for every store, that would be great.
So do you typically still go to markets to sell the line?
We don't.
You don't.
I don't think the markets are working anymore.
Okay. So what makes you, when you've
Well, I
said
think
like,
the markets have kind of dwindled away in terms of the amount of people that are attending.
Yeah.
It's-
They'll just go on. We have a wholesale section of our site, and people can just, the stores can just log on and they can order. Yeah. If they have any questions, we have, salespeople they can talk to, and if they want to see samples, we're happy to send them samples.
wow. So you really,
Yeah.
What does your
Yeah.
team look like today?
We have just a few salespeople. You don't really need that many. So we have 3. And and then it's Ijung and I and a design assistant, and that's it. Yeah.
But
It's
someone's
small.
doing marketing, because your website has a lot of good photography and,
Yeah.
and sort of,
Well,
just
that's
models.
That's you
and-
guys.
I cannot take credit for all of it. I mean, as I said, my husband really is a huge part of this business. He takes all the photographs.
Oh, really?
Amazing.
Okay.
And designs every.
He's here in the studio with us.
He's
today.
here in the
Sitting
studio.
quietly to the
Yes.
side.
He's always the quiet, humble one in the corner.
I love that.
But yeah, all the design work, everything is collaborative. So everything that we do is collaborative. Ijung has a branding company.
Okay.
And because I worked in branding before, sometimes I help him on projects for his branding company. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we collaborate on everything.
Are
Yeah.
you looking to grow the brand?
Yes, I'm looking to grow the brand always.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, because I feel like there's so many little, like back to this boutique shopping and, shopping small, which I know there's like a certain Saturday every year that's like shop small or something that they're like kind of promoting. And I just feel like this has so many homes that could be, nestled into it.
Yeah. We're always looking to grow the brand, and we're always looking for good new partners, and yeah.
So what's the price point of items? Where do they fall? Like, let's talk
see.
about the belts.
Okay, so the belts are $115. We started, originally they were $98 at retail. And we've been able to hold them at $115. I don't know how that's going to go with tariffs, but we're trying to hold steady at $115.
Is that a concern, the tariffs?
Uh,
Have you seen any
I
effect?
haven't, nothing yet.
Yeah, we
I-
haven't.
Yeah.
I think we will see. I don't know. I don't know.
We haven't
it could
seen
change.
it in our
right?
business whatsoever at all, and we're actually hearing, from some manufacturers and vendors that some of the prices have come down just a slight bit with some.
Yeah. Well, there is negotiating room for
Yeah.
negotiation
Definitely.
now.
Yeah.
Right? And our most expensive bag is probably it's a huge tote bag with the trims all intertwined, and that's around $1,700. So it really just depends on what if you want a bra top, it's under $100. It depends on
So
what.
it's a pretty good
It is.
priced line.
Yeah, if you want a makeup bag, our makeup bags I think are around $50. It just depends on what you want to buy from us.
Yeah.
We have a really wide range, and that's intentional. If I want people to be able to get a piece of the brand if they want a piece of the brand. Yeah.
So what is the website? Because people should go to the website who are listening, because it's quite an interesting, fun scroll through to see all of your items and the colors and and I guess the fabrics and so
Oh,
forth.
totally. And I truly do remember seeing it in Love Shack. I mean, they're memorable pieces, and they're so unique.
Oh, thank you. It's hadleypollet.com, which is HadleyPollet.com. Yeah.
So who fulfills the order, like the custom orders? Like, what's the time frame on a custom order, or the customization process?
So we tell people 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, that's pretty quick and
Yeah.
reasonable.
Usually they're done faster. Yeah, 7 to 10 days.
Do you do any monogramming or anything like that?
We can do monogramming. I don't have that. It's interesting. I've been thinking about putting that on the customization piece, and then letting people pick their tassel. That's another thing. We're just adding little details now. But we can do monogramming, yes, which is a great idea.
And like, when do you, in your own creative process for the brand, when do you decide like it's time? Like, you got into yoga, so like the yoga line came in. Like, when do you say, oh, it's time to add to it? And what does that process look like for you?
Well, there are certain touch points of a woman's life, like a Hadley woman, that we talk about internally. And so where can we touch her in different places of her life?
Okay.
What's a Hadley woman?
Exactly. So tell us more about the Hadley woman.
Okay, so she's very empowered. That probably would be the number one. She's very empowered. She likes, she's understands that her soul is unique, and she likes to express that. She loves color. She likes things that are different. She also does things like goes to yoga, likes to shop.
Takes care.
Yeah, takes care of herself. Sees dressing up every day as a form of creativity. So she might go to Aspen in the winter, and she might be in Greenwich during fall and spring, and then she might be in Nantucket in the summer. So she might play tennis a lot. She might play golf. We do have some Hadley women that love horseback riding because our belts are soft.
I know, they would be so cute with riding pants. I mean, they really have so much character, but understated too. It can go both ways.
Yeah. And they have that uniform they wear, and the only thing they can change is their belt. So it's a form of expression for them. So we talk internally about, what does she do? Where does she travel? Does she travel to the south of France in the summer? Does she, where does she go? What does she need? What's going to help her? I had a woman at yoga the other day who came to, we did this really fun event in Greenwich a year ago with this kind of high-end little cafe. And she popped by and bought a belt. And she got out of her car. We were going into yoga, and she said, I just took that belt for 6 weeks to Europe with me. And she said, I have to tell you, that is the best thing I've ever had. I wore it this way, I wore it that way. And so we do think about that, they have a lifestyle where they travel a lot, and they need pieces that stand out and something that's
interchangeable a little bit. You can use it with multiple different dresses or shorts.
Yeah.
I know, the belts are really sweet. So how did the design of like the jacquard become like the signature part of the line?
Well, we started with the vintage trims, and it's funny, I gave a talk at my school that I went to, my boarding school, and they wanted to find out about like how I became who I am, basically. And I was pulling up pictures one day and realized when I was 3,
you wore this belt.
I had these jacquard trims on my my little robe that I wore at the beach. And then my mom always tells this story where we moved into a new house, and there was this wallpaper that was like bright flowers, and she just wanted to rip it off the walls. And I screamed at her, do not take these flowers off my wall. So I really, that's kind of where
they were like a comfort thing for you.
It's just a part of me.
Yeah,
really and so
is.
I really just loved the whole thing. And so when I was sourcing the vintage ones, I knew that was going to become a signature of ours. Yeah.
Where else do you look for inspiration?
Nature. Yeah.
Nature.
Yes. All the color combos that we use come from pictures that I've taken.
Wow.
Yeah. I probably, if you opened my camera roll, you'd see, moss and flowers and bugs and
how
animals and, sunsets. And yeah, I take a walk twice a day with my dog and I take pictures
Nonstop.
the whole time.
So
Yeah.
how many times a year do you curate or go to, create new collections?
Do you follow the seasons or follow like the industry?
We are
does?
always creating.
You are.
Yeah, always.
So when do you upload new things? Like literally all the time?
All the time.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I as a creative, and I think that the easiest way to stay clear-minded and fresh is to keep creating.
True.
So I just keep creating.
So
We keep creating.
From
I
a
shouldn't
business standpoint, because we have a dear friend who, in a crazy way, he's been in many different businesses, and he went to Vegas and got off the plane with these 3 women he was with, friends, and they saw the magic show, and they were like, let's go to the convention, let's go see the fashion, and by mistake, they created a fashion line, and just going to the show, and
By mistake?
well, when you first,
Yes, he started by mistake.
he started by mistake, but you didn't start by mistake. But when you first started, the first sales that you got was there a lot of pressure, concern,
I didn't feel pressure, but I was in PR, public relations before that, and when you're selling a story,
Right.
to my forte in the public relations department was getting people press. And so when you're selling something to a publication that gets, I don't know how many calls a day, you have to figure out what they need, when they need it, how they need it, what that person is like,
right?
and then you sell it. So I'm very good
At reading
at
and
the
all
target.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very, very good at the target and analyzing kind of okay, this store, I know AI does all of this for you now maybe, but this store really, this is what they need. So there is a lot of analytical kind of component that goes into it. Yeah.
Right.
But for the first 2 stores, I wasn't afraid, but maybe I wasn't afraid because I was pitching USA Today and the New York Times. And
Was there a point where you felt like, okay, I've got this going, and this is really starting to work?
Once I had a sales partner, because
Okay.
before that I was wearing too many hats,
Right.
and that's very hard. You really need people that know more than you do,
Yeah.
that
Yep.
can lift you up, and I think that's really important, as opposed to feeling like you have to do everything all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had moments where I've felt like, oh wow, this is really big. How did it get this far? I've had those kind of moments,
Right.
But I'm very willful.
Would you ever want to open your own store, brick and mortar?
I would.
You do. Because, and I think of this, as Stony Clover. Are you familiar with that brand?
Yeah.
And my husband has a friend who does it in the sports world, and where they add patches. I feel like this has such a similar concept where you come into this cute store, it becomes like a afternoon activity, and you create something unique between the vintage ribbons and the tassel. You kind of can put together your own signature piece.
I would love that, and I have certain places that I'd like the store first.
So where do you think
Where's
that
that?
would be?
The first place I want one is St. Bart's.
Oh, that would be
Really?
amazing.
The whole fashion industry just descends on there, and I just remember buying this
Well,
bag
you do really
there.
well during New Year's Eve at that time.
Yeah, I just like to pop up there even for a season and
Well,
see
and
how
that's
it
what's
goes.
so cool is
Yeah.
pop-up is a thing now. I think
Yeah.
that would be brilliant. Even Palm Beach, Delray, I feel like you could explode.
Yeah,
It's how
Oh,
much
thank
do you want to explode, really?
We want to explode.
Yeah, everything that you talk about your brand and what you just said a few minutes ago about what your average, your customer, your client looks like, Palm Beach is
Yes.
It fits really well.
Yeah, I know that.
And it
yeah.
just, I really feel so
Palm Beach
strongly
County.
that like it really goes the gamut for ages. Like you really could have from little tweens all the way to grandmas. I mean,
Yes.
that would appreciate and enjoy, the newest bag.
Yes. Thank
You know, I was mentioning about this friend who started this brand. I know one of the biggest things that he ran into problems with, and I think a lot of it had to do with because he went to big retailers, is inventory. Do you have to keep a lot, or do you keep a lot of inventory?
We try not to.
Yeah.
We really try not to. We did have a problem with inventory at one point.
Where
Because
you had too much or not enough.
it's the minimums, right? I think that the
Yeah.
factories, they have these ridiculous minimums. I gave a speech about this in Peru about the problems in retail and
Right.
all the elements that cause problems. Part one is minimums, right?
Well, minimums,
so-
and then if you're seasonal, or you're
Yeah.
changing with the season, and now the seasons change, and you've got all this inventory.
it's not sustainable. And I don't think that the future is going to lie in these minimums. We just had somebody, we've been designing these really beautiful, almost like pashmina, like
Oh, that's
shawls.
another great.
And one factory who we met at an event said to me, "Oh, you can order whatever quantities you want." And I thought, okay, that's great because we're going to test these. I'm not going to order thousands right off the bat. I want to know that they're going to do well. And then he came back to me yesterday asking me for like, I don't even know, 3,000 for one color. And I just emailed him back, Philippe,
That's not what
you
we
changed your
discussed.
tune
Yeah.
here. And this is not sustainable. This doesn't align with our brand. If you want to work with us, this is how we work.
Right.
And it's that simple, right? And at this moment in time, everything's on sale. I mean, Saks is on sale yesterday for 70% off. I've never seen Saks on sale for 70% off, right?
Yeah. So what does that mean?
So that means there's too much stuff.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff, and people aren't buying
Inventory.
all this sameness all over the place.
all over.
And so there is a big reckoning happening right now, and we just happen to be ahead of the curve, in not taking people's minimums as, at face value. So if you want to work with us and you want the reputation of working with our brand and the, panache of working with our brand, then, you have to meet the minimums that we want you to meet.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did Philippe say?
He came back and said, how do we work together?
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I think adding the shawl component would be amazing with
Right.
your aesthetic.
I'm thinking weddings now.
Ah.
Like all my friends' daughters are starting to get married, and I feel like it would be great for brides to design bags for their
Well, what a great idea.
yeah, for their bridesmaids and give them pashminas. They could be initialed or they could have their theme on them. So, I mean, they would be Hadlified.
Right.
Like, they'd have the Hadley aspect to them. But, I do think that there's like kind of this whole other, because they're really expressing themselves at their, at this moment in time, which is a sacred moment when they're getting married and, start, kind of pivoting into a new life. So wouldn't it be fun to help them express themselves through, some really interesting things. So, yeah.
So at any one given time, like right now, how many different SKUs, how many different items do you have on the site?
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
100, 200?
Oh, we probably have 200 SKUs right now,
That's
I
a
would
lot of
say.
SKUs.
Yeah, yeah. But we don't have too much of everything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good
So,
variety.
Yeah. It's enough so that you can see a whole lifestyle. Yeah, we want you to see the entire lifestyle. Like the event I was talking about that we did in Greenwich, because it was at this high-end cafe, and he has like really beautiful foods and stuff, we launched a home line. So we took his
Like
really
towels or placemats or
placemats, table
Yeah.
runners, tablecloths.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I used the lotus theme for all the products because I felt like the world needed peace. And so I was feeling, I'd been to Taiwan.
Say that again. The world needs peace.
And the lotus flower is about coming out of the darkness into the light and peace. So so there was a whole lotus theme at this event, and he has these big window seats with these just very bland pillows on them, just the bottom. And I thought, I mean, if we're doing an event here, we need some color.
And we need pillows.
Right? Yeah. So I did pillows and
because pillows would be amazing too.
Yeah, they're on our site. Yeah. So
I saw that.
Yeah, so we transformed the whole space into,
Hadlified.
So when I first went to your website and looked through it, and Tiffany looked at it right after me, I'm going to tell you the first thing when I kind of walked away that came into my mind pertaining to your site was 3 words.
Yeah.
Peace, love, and happiness.
Oh.
It kind of has that vibe and feel to it.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if I'm off track there.
No, you are.
But
you're on track.
That's exactly how I felt when I walked away from the screen going, peace, love, and happiness. It's kind of how you feel when you see everything.
Thank you.
You see your items.
That's a big compliment. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're doing our job.
I truly did.
Yeah.
Well,
truly.
And they all are so purposeful. Each piece is so purposeful and unique, which, we're all wanting purpose and to be our own authentic self. So I think it's really special.
iDesign Lab. Always have to ask the question, do you love designing?
I love it. I mean, any kind of creativity, but I think designing is, for me, the ultimate form of creativity. And creativity is authenticity.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I know, and I feel like we get to, hear so many wonderful stories, and it's so funny, like as these shows evolve, and we talk to people, how many people really do get to end up doing what they love. Mm-hmm. You design a life around what you love, and you took that leap, leaving what you studied and everything like that, and were able to truly take your passion and create something really special and unique. And make it continue for 20 years. I mean, to me, that's a really profound legacy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I my hope is that a lot of women that we touch get inspired that way and do that for themselves.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the hope. Yeah. Even the artisans that we work with, we have an artisan training program, and, we'll drop into a country and train them and teach them.
What do you mean, an artisan training program? What do you mean by that?
We train artisans in different countries. So we'll drop in and we'll, depending on the group that we're working with, they might pull together 10 to 30 artisans. And a lot of them work in silos, so they might just make baskets, or they make, but we talk to them about cross-pollinating with other technologies, and, we'll do an evaluation of all their products, look at their brands, and see, teach them where they can, do better and how to sell internationally. And all of that is just really about a matriarchal
pay it forward
point of view of business, which is just uplifting everybody, right? I don't have to extract what I need from you
and run. I love that.
I have knowledge and information to impart to you that will help your economy grow and help the women and children in your area
for the future.
Yeah, thrive.
Really, really beautiful story. Well, thank you for joining us today on the iDesign Lab podcast. I know. And everybody, please go check out Hadley Pollet, or Pollet, if you want the French way. .com.
Thank you so much. This was so lovely.
It's so much fun. Welcome.
iDesign Labs podcast is an SW Group production in association with the 5-Star and TW Interiors. To learn more about iDesign Lab or TW Interiors, please visit twinteriors.com.